Hi everyone, so today I'm gonna show something different. I'm participating now in an ESL Cup. This is my first tournament ever that I ever played in with the in the Warhammer Total War, and today I'm gonna show you the first game from the first round that I've played versus the player named Monster Orc. So look at this gigantic tree, and this map is gorgeous. This is I forgot what it is actually. The Silver Spire? Yeah, okay, it is a Silver Spire. Yeah, so in this tournament, if you guys don't know, then one player has to select the faction. In this case, I was selecting the faction first, and then the other player picks the faction next. And yeah, this was my first tournament, and basically I knew that everyone in my group was very good. Like I have to play some guys like Nirak, he is rated 22 in the world, guys in top 100, so my objective was just to win at least one match. And granted, my opponent was not from top 100, but he's a very strong player. So for this match, since I was picking first, I decided that Empire would be a safe pick, and then I picked the Empire. And then my opponent picked the Dwarfs. And here I realized that I have no honest idea how to play a Dwarfs with the Empire, right? So, I mean, I normally play as a Beastman or Chaos, and I bring Chariots and just roll the guys over. But as Empire, I had no idea what to bring. And like, actually, I think I never played that matchup before. So I think I was in trouble. So I figured bringing the Flying Lord, with the replenishment as Boris Topbringer would be not bad. And then I just brought, all basically armor piercing. So I brought 2 halberdiers on each flank, and then I brought 2 greatswords, and then the unbreakable guys. So maybe they'll help versus the lesser armored infantry. And then I decided to go with the Amber Wizard because I know that the dwarfs usually bunch up, and that's exactly what happens. And of course I bring the Flock of Doom on these guys. So, and then I decided to go with some mobile harass, and I brought 2 units of Outriders on each flank. So one guy here, they're hidden at the moment. And of course, I didn't know what to bring in place of Chariots, and I decided to bring 2 units of Demigryph Knights. The regular ones, not the anti-large, of course, because dwarves, they don't have large, but just the regular anti-infantry and armor piercing. So I'll just be using them basically as Chariots in this matchup. And yeah, so let's see how it goes. And then my opponent brought actually a very interesting build. So lots of skirmishers. First of all, Goblobber, as you can see already lobbing the gobs right there, killing my flagellants. And then he brought 2 units of Iron Drakes. These guys, flaming attacks can be really good against low armor infantry and no shields. And then he brought 2 units of Thunderers as well to pressure me, and then hidden the units I didn't see at the moment were the Slayers and the Dwarf Warriors. And then his front line is just a very solid long beard front line, and he has great weapons on the side. So let's see how this goes. So yeah, I decide to start flanking immediately. So my Demigryph Knights, they are going on the left and on the right, as you can see, in a pincer-like maneuver, and I decided to started harassing him with the Outriders. So right away, but I should be wary for his Thunderers, right? And of course, because of this monument in the middle, my units have to cross this way, and I was very uncareful with the Outriders, and I got hammered by these Thunderers. Granted, the Sigmar Sons, they have shields, so they wouldn't take as many casualties, but still, these Thunderers are a pain. And I keep casting the Flock of Doom. My opponent is, on top of micro, you can see, running away from this Flock of Doom, so it does almost no damage. And then I start charging my Demigryph Knights. So, of course, the Longbeards now with great weapons, they have the charge defense against large. So, not the best charge of me. Here, this was much better. I charge in the back of these Longbeards, and look at the damage. They take immediately, well, almost 20%. But now his Iron Drakes start unleashing their cargo. So at the moment they didn't kill any. Okay, these guys killed flagellants, looks like 14. Yeah, and I just keep shooting at them with my Outriders and keep cycle charging my Demigryph Knights. But you can see now that Dragonback's players, they just sprung out of the forest out of nowhere and caught my Demigryph Knights, and already these guys lost 4 mortals, which is not good. These guys are healthy still because my charge was much better, and I managed to catch his Thunderers with my Lord. But these guys, I mismicroed this unit of Outriders, and you can see that he's just getting pounded. And look at these Iron Drakes just shooting over the heads. But maybe this is not the best, engagement for them. They're a bit obstructed. But now the Rune Lord, the Runesmith is out of the way, and yeah, I'm just trying to play the hide and seek game, or catch me if you can game rather, and with the Demigryphs. And you can see my Outriders get dumpstered. So of course he's popping out all kinds of runes, and you can see that his Goblobber did a great job, 57 kills in a very short time. And my Demigryphs are coming from the back. They lost 2 models more to these Slayers. And now these Iron Drakes, look at that fire. My Halberds, they have the rear side to the Iron Drakes, and here also just point blank fire into my units, and I just didn't have the resources to kill these guys. And now after that I believe I noticed this, they're just molesting my guys, and I dropped the flagellants on them. But now you can see my Lord is in trouble. I landed to try to kill the Goblobber. Yeah, and you can see there's fires going on. And yeah, I barely managed to pull out. You can see my one Outrider here did 13 kills, not that many, but still there. And I finally managed to get hold of these Iron Drakes. And you can see I lured the Dragonback Slayers into my Halberds, and now the Demigryph Knight is free. So I have to cycle charge. Now the balance bar is starting to go into my opponent's favor. But my Demigryphs here are sitting. These ones already kill 60 people, these ones kill 37, but I have to cycle charge them. I can't afford to sit here because his Lord actually is the regular Rune Lord, and he has 2 Runesmith. So they're just casting, alternate the runes, one after another. And thankfully I have these guys, the Outriders, who are just punishing. I think my other unit is here. They managed to come back, and I thought that it would be just a good idea to leave them here for now to shoot. And these guys I just mismicroed, and I didn't see that his Thunderers came back from route. And yeah, you can see that I'm managing finally to wrap up these Iron Drakes. These guys didn't do too well, 32 kills. For their cost maybe it's not that great. And these guys are running, but these were much more effective. You can see 73 kills, and everything here is routing, and now the balance bar is back in my favor. And here I became confident that I can win this game. And you can see my Demigryph Knights, yeah, granted there are only 11 of them, but they can do, they can do some work. They are great in chasing the fleeing units. And now of course I noticed this Thunderers, and I just sent the Demigryphs to deal with them immediately. And you can see here everything is routed. Unfortunately my Ember Wizard was scared off the battlefield, and I just tried to go for his leadership, because actually in the attrition battle the Dwarfs will sustain forever with their runes, and of course Rune of Wrath and Ruin. They can just kill all the infantry basically for free. It doesn't even cost Winds of Magic. But luckily I have the Outriders left. These guys, they're out of ammo. These guys still had some left, and I wanted to chase the routing units with my Ember Wizard, but then they came back. And my opponent, again, props to him, he just noticed this and sends them right back into the fray. And as you can see now in the middle, he has these Longbeards that will not break probably with all the support, and of course the Slayers that are never broken. And now I noticed this, this chunk of units. I decided to shut them down with my Lord. And then I thought my Outriders will do well, and they don't. Just one salvo from the Thunderers and off they go. And the same actually, it triggers a chain route, and look at my units. And despite the balance bar being heavily in my favor, and the Iron Drakes, just 5 of them left, being terror routed, and this guy's terror routed, still, if you look at my forces, Rune of Wrath and Ruin is just killing my Demigryph Knights. I've got 6 left here, 8 left here, and he has units hiding in the forest. So I have Outriders, but they suck in melee, so I have no infantry left. These guys, I don't think... Oh yeah, and you can see they rout. These guys will rout, Ember Wizard will rout, so I managed to rout these guys, the Thunderers, which is good, otherwise they would just kill me straight up. But now my opponent, he still has Iron Drakes with 19 ammo left, And he, of course, he wants to consolidate in the forest because, you know, Boris will have a disadvantage. And Boris, of course, he has full health because he regenerates. And now there is nothing I can do. I have to ram him with Outriders and my Demigryphs. I don't know how many, you know, cycle charge they can sustain. But now you can see the Rune of Wrath and Ruin is going off on the Outriders, and there is nothing I can do. If I just sit, he'll kill them. Straight up. That's how simple it is. Thankfully, these guys came back, and I thought I can just, you know, shoot at these Dragonback Slayers. They have no armor, so the Outriders should do really well. And I mean, no shields, of course. They have armor piercing. Okay, 25, go. You can see Boris is being pounded. These guys, there are just 2 of them left. Look at those troopers. One is covered with blood. Yeah, and my Outriders are going. But look at that. I thought there is no threat to my Outriders. And then, this is when he pulled his Iron Drakes closer. And I wasn't paying attention. I was still focusing on the Dragonback Slayers because they're dangerous. And now look. Here comes the fire. It immediately toasts this horse meat on the skewer. And these guys are not happy. You can't really tell. They just lost 1 guy, right? What's the big deal? Keep shooting. And then these guys do another salvo. And that will be it. For my guys, yeah, they had enough. 12 kills is enough, they decided, and they went home. Alright, and now I just cycle charged my Demigryph Knights. While these guys were distracted, I tried to went for his leadership. I have to kill his runesmiths one by one. But you can see my Demigryph Knights, they're not in the best shape. And now they're routing, and there was a Rune of Wrath and Ruin going off on them. All kinds of things bad happening. And then these guys were also routed, and I just now cycle charge the Outriders. And I don't know actually why the balance bar is in my favor, because he still has 23 units of Slayers, 23 models. These guys are still alive, when there are only 2 of them, but look at that, they're just still here, still fighting. My Halberds are trying to join the battle. Nope. There's 2 Iron Drakes. They routed my, what's that, the Outriders. Here they go, off in the distance. They routed my Halberds. Now they routed my Outriders, and then finally they ran away. Great. So these guys, they've been the MVPs that whole time. 77 kills, and they came back. 31 HP, 2 Iron Drakes came back. Now Boris is, I'm just trying to do, I just, you know, all I can, I'm trying to scare those guys off. I managed to rout 1 Runesmith. I have to kill this guy, and another Rune of Wrath and Ruin going off on my Demigryph Knights. So now guys, if you take a quick look, the only units I have are these Outriders, which will probably never come back. Then the Amber Wizard, and by the time I had no Winds of Magic, so this guy is kind of useless. And then the Halberdiers, which will probably rout off easily, and the Demigryph Knights with 88 HP and 3 models. So basically this leaves me only with Boris Thoughtbringer. You can see these guys, Iron Drakes. Whom did they scare now? They scare now the whole leadership unit, Amber Wizard. And I was so pissed with these guys, I just got so fed up that I'm just gonna do this. Just tear them to pieces. You can see this guy is flying with his... Oh, no head and no arm, looks like. Oh no. Are all the parts there? I don't know. Yeah, Boris is just so fed up. He just slams this guy into the ground. And again, they didn't rout. I had to kill all of them. And now I've managed to jump on the Runesmith. 1 health, it means he's dead. And these guys, okay, Longbeards. If I manage to rout these guys, it's gonna be huge, because these guys are about to rout too. So there are only 9 of them left. Right, and as you can see, actually, these guys, the Halberdiers, as we suspected, they just routed. And of course, this is still the Amber Wizard. And the Outriders also, here they are routing in the distance. Oh, this is a Grey Swords, okay. Yeah, so everything routed except for these Demigryph Knights. And their leadership is at 8. So basically, guys, now I have only 1 unit of Flyer, a Lord, and I have 1 land unit of Demigryph Knights. If I lose these guys, I'll lose the game, because I'll have, you know, suffer severe leadership penalties. And now Boris is in his healing cap already, as you can see. He replenished everything he could. And now my opponent has still Slayers left, 18. Their HP is not great, but there are 18 models. They do massive damage. He has Longbeards. Probably I can scare these guys off first. And then 1 Runesmith and 1 Lord. So these guys are not going anywhere. They're gonna run. And all I can do now is cycle charge. And luckily my opponent now is not in the forest, so I don't suffer penalties, and I just have to ram him. I start with the lowest HP unit, I have to ram the runesmith. And at some point I was thinking maybe I can assist with my Demigryph Knights, right? Just bring them over here, but then I thought that if they're out, then I'm basically done. And you can see my Boris is taking huge damage in some of those landings, but I just try to ram him. And you can see now the runesmith is gone. This is really good because, you know, fewer ruins to cast. Now, Dragonback Slayers, I have to kill those guys. I'm pretty sure I can win 1v1 versus the Rune Lord, even if he has more HP than I do. But now my opponent realizes that I have a large unit which will suffer penalties in the forest, so he immediately pulls into the forest. And I don't want to let that happen. I try to chase him, and of course he's very smart. He chases me off with the Slayers, but now his Lord is a bit away, so I'm just trying to munch on as many units as I can. And you can see Boris is down to 1600 HP, and he killed 100 units already. And his, you know, HP is dropping, HP is dropping. The Slayers, they will not run, still 9 models left. These guys might run, the Longbeards. And now I have no choice but to cycle charge. So you can see literally, guys, the only unit I have left is this Shaken Tattered Demigryph Knights. And I just, you know, this is just the game of attrition. If I'm not lucky on the cycle charge, then he'll just kill me, straight up. And then my Demigryphs will flee as soon as the Lord is dead. So you can see I'm just trying to go for good angles, and this is just a harass. But I take a lot of damage on landing. I'm down to 1300 HP. I really have to kill his Dragonback Slayers. And then I also try to kill his Lord because he's casting runes all the time. And then I managed to rout him. And of course immediately these guys rout. And now I realize that, okay, doesn't matter how many Slayers he's got, I can manage to take them. And that was it. So Boris was down to 700 HP. And the Demigryphs, if these Demigryph Knights fled, I'll be done. You can see they picked up a couple a chevron each, and these guys were upgraded in the first place. So actually my infantry did not bad, I think. Yeah, granted, these greatswords were a bit prematurely taken off the field, and of course the flagellants, just one kill for an expensive unit is not a good thing, but they were just killed by this, punished by this fire, if you forgive me. And then Boris was the MVP on my army, of course, all those cycle chargers. But for the Monster Orc, great game, and oh my god, these Iron Drakes were so incredibly annoying. Look at the kills on the Dragonback Slayers again, and the Goblobber, I was really surprised by it. The distance was very short, and I think I managed to close this distance really quickly, but he still managed to get 58 kills on the Goblobber. And granted, I shut down this Thunderous completely, and his front line did not perform as great against my greatswords, but still, you saw it was a very, very tough game, and I barely managed to squeeze out a win. And anyway, so I managed to win this first game, and you know, the round went until the best out of 3, so effectively until 2 victories. And next I'm gonna show you my game 2 versus Monster Orc. But for now, that's it, and thanks for listening, and bye guys.